Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are wading into some pretty dark territory. We're looking at what one high-retention sports piece just called a brutal 6-10 season for the Chiefs.
Brutal is the right word.
Yeah, and we have some really urgent, almost emotionally charged reporting here. It details a complete defensive crisis, and it features some shockingly candid admissions from defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo Spags and their all-pro Chris Jones.
That's right. And the reporting we're digging into, it's really designed to be a gut punch. You know, it's this mix of raw emotional analysis and just cold, hard facts.
So what's our mission here?
I think our mission is triage. We have to separate the genuine systemic tactical failures from, this new psychological story that the team's leadership is trying to build.
A story they're building in response to the failure.
Exactly. Because the context is it's everything. They finished 6-10. They're heading into that final game against the Raiders with a losing record for the first time in, it feels like forever.
And Mahomes is out, torn ACL. So the defense, which should have been the unit to carry them.
Instead, it just took a massive nosedive, a complete collapse.
Okay, let's start right there with the mechanics of that nosedive. Because the journalism we're looking at doesn't just talk in generalities, it points to one single measurable failure that it killed their season.
The third down catastrophe.
The third down catastrophe, yeah. Opponents converted 45% of their third downs against this Chiefs defense.
45%.
That number it's just disastrous. It ranks them 29th in the entire league. I mean, if you're looking for one stat that defines failure, that's it.
And that 45%, it's not just an ugly number on a spreadsheet, right? It is the fundamental mechanic of how they lost games.
Especially the close ones?
Especially the close ones. I mean, think about the downstream effects of that. If you can't get your defense off the field, they're facing, 10, 12?
15 more snaps a game sometimes?
Yeah, 15 more snaps than they should be.
Yeah.
And that leads directly to fatigue, to losing the time of possession battle. And it puts so much pressure on an offense that's already struggling without its star.
They know the defense won't get a stop.
They know it. And the Denver game that the source highlights is a perfect example. Chiefs tie the game late. All they need is one stop to get the ball back.
Just one.
One stop. And they can't do it. First, they fail on a 3rd-and-1 run. Then right after that soul-crushing blown coverage on 3rd and 10.
And the game's over.
Game over.
Yeah.
2 plays that just perfectly captured an entire season of not being able to get that one stop when it mattered.
What I find so compelling here is how Spagnuolo is handling it. I mean, this is a guy who's famous for being able to mask issues like a wizard, right?
Right.
But he's not deflecting. He's owning this failure completely. The reporting quotes him, and he sounds almost like he's in disbelief. He says, "I've been looking at it every week. Either they make a play or we make a mistake."
That's a huge admission. It means the execution is just completely broken.
But the detail that really got me, the most damning part, was when he talked about their greatest strength, the 3rd and 10 pluses. He admitted, and this is a direct quote, that situation bit us this year.
Okay, so if we were looking for, a schematic smoking gun, that's it. The failure on 3rd and 10 pluses is it.
Explain that for our listener. Why is that so critical?
Well, think about it.
Yeah.
If a team is facing 3rd and 10 or more, the offense is almost certainly passing the ball. It's predictable.
The defense has all the advantages.
All of them. They can pin their ears back, rush the passer, play coverage. A coordinator like Spags, his entire system is built on winning those situations. So when he says that this historical strength is what failed them, I mean, that points to a fundamental breakdown.
It's not just one player messing up.
No, not at all. It means the entire structure, the thing designed to get pressure and cover against a predictable pass, has just collapsed. It's either a scheme issue or your guys just can't execute anymore.
And that idea of a structural breakdown. Well, that leads us right into the other big failure mentioned in the reporting.
The pressure problem.
The pressure problem. The key stat here is the sack rate. It just plummeted to around 5.8%, which again is abysmal, 23rd in the league.
And the source puts it really simply, that the pressure just wasn't popping like before.
Right.
And look, the low sack rate and the 3rd down catastrophe,
Yeah.
they're not separate issues. They are 2 sides of the exact same coin.
They feed each other.
They absolutely feed each other. On those 3rd and longs we were just talking about, if your defensive line, even with a guy like Chris Jones, if they can't get immediate pressure,
The quarterback gets an extra second or two.
which is fatal, those extra seconds are what allows the secondary, which is already stretched thin, to just break down. The QB has time, he finds a gap, and you get that blown coverage we saw against Denver.
So the failure really starts up front.
It starts up front. The D-line isn't finishing plays, which exposes the back end, which leads to the 45% conversion rate, which keeps drives alive, which ultimately just runs your entire defense into the ground, the death spiral.
Okay, so we've established the tactical failure, the stats, the scheme. The foundation cracked, especially on third down. But now we have to shift gears because this is where it gets fascinating. We have to move from the data to the psychology.
The narrative.
The narrative, because this is where Chris Jones steps in to, forcefully control how this failure is perceived. The language he uses is so intense. He said they lost in a different type of fashion.
One they weren't familiar with.
Exactly. But then he really escalates it. He describes the season as, and I'm quoting, a lot of broken jaws. He said they got punched in the face a lot.
That language is not an accident. It's 100% a deliberate strategy.
Or reframing.
It's complete reframing.
Yeah.
Jones is the leader, right? He's usually the glass half full guy. So by using words like broken jaws, he's acknowledging how humiliating this was. He's validating the pain the fans in the locker room are feeling.
He's not downplaying it.
He's doing the opposite. He's maximizing the perceived cost of the lesson. He's framing this entire horrible season as a necessary learning curve.
But doesn't that just sound like classic leadership spin?
Yeah.
I get the need for motivation, but how much of this broken jaw stuff is real character building and how much is just, a way to deflect from the fact that they just played poorly?
And that is the exact tension that the source material is getting at. It's a brilliant question.
Yeah.
Because when an elite organization fails this badly, it creates shock.
Right.
And that shock can either paralyze you, lead to finger pointing, total collapse, or you can convert it into fuel. Jones is aggressively choosing to turn it into fuel. He's basically saying, we needed to feel this much pain.
He even confronts that frustration we talked about earlier, right? That the defense let the offense right back in games, which drove Spags crazy.
He does. And he insists that this specific painful experience is what builds champs. He's betting the entire team's future on the idea that this 6-10 season is what sets up a monster comeback.
Yeah.
A counterpunch in 2026.
So it's like a philosophical battle, isn't it? You've got Spags on one side looking at the tape going, we're just making mistakes. A tactical problem.
The systemic critique.
Yeah. And on the other side, you have Jones saying, no, we needed the emotional shock of a broken jaw to build character. It's like the reporting is presenting two different truths. Did they fail because of bad execution? Or did they fail for the experience?
And Jones's narrative demands that you believe it was for the experience, that the pain had a purpose.
And that tension, that doesn't just stay in the locker room, does it?
Oh, not at all. It goes straight to the front office. Because you can't separate this performance from the financial reality. The reporting cites experts, and they're clear. Cap space is tight.
And that's made worse by the massive contracts they gave to guys like Jones and Carafty, the defensive cornerstones.
Exactly. When you give out those huge contracts, those massive cap hits to your defensive stars, you're making an organizational bet. You're betting that their talent is going to elevate everyone around them.
A bet that didn't pay off this year.
Not even close. So now the poor performance doesn't just sting on the scoreboard. It puts the front office under intense financial scrutiny. When your highest paid guys are anchoring a unit that's 29th in the league on third downs.
Those contracts start to look like liabilities.
Massive liabilities. They stop you from being flexible. So this isn't just about winning next year. It's about justifying those investments. They have to have a huge rebound in 2026 just to prove the money was well spent.
And this same tension, this same split, you see it mirrored in the fan base. The reporting digs into X, into Reddit, and there is a clear divide.
Yeah, you've got the people screaming rebuild.
Right. Burn it all down, change the coaches, change the system. But then you have this other camp, and they're passionately defending Spags. They're saying he's still a wizard who masks issues better than anyone.
It's that classic debate, right? Is it the coach or is it the players? The fans defending Spags are saying, look at his history. Give him better talent and the scheme will work.
But the other side has the data.
The other side has the 45% third down rate, which is just, it's so hard to argue with. The rebuild crowd is looking at that same number and saying, the system itself is broken. It needs a complete refresh.
What's really fascinating to me, though, and maybe it speaks to the culture Jones is trying to build, is that despite all this, there's still this vein of optimism.
Cautious optimism, yeah.
The source mentions all the memes about blown coverages, but then it highlights polls showing that most think D rebounds strong in 26.
So the fans, or at least a lot of them, are choosing to buy what Chris Jones is selling.
The broken jaw narrative.
Exactly. They're looking past the ugly stats and choosing to believe that the pain and the humiliation from this season that it's going to be converted into fuel. They're betting the tactical mistakes get fixed, and the new emotional strength carries them through.
Which brings us to this pivotal moment the team is in now. We have the data that 45% third down rate is a dagger. It's a wound that's still there.
Huge threat.
But we also have this powerful psychological story from the leadership, insisting character was built, lessons were learned, that they were forged in fire.
It's a complete cliffhanger. Just like the source says, the whole future, especially 2026, it really all comes down to one question.
Can they nail the offseason fixes?
That's it. Can they bring in a new edge rusher? Can they refresh the scheme? Can they do what it takes to make this defense terrifying again? Or do these mistakes linger and prove the failure was actually deeper than anyone thought?
So as you, our listener, look at sports journalism like this, what do you take away from it? I think there are two core things today. First, the specific tactical failure wasn't just a bad defense. It was an acute, consistent breakdown on third down, that 45% number. Any fix has to start there.
And second, leadership is performing what is basically an act of psychological alchemy. Chris Jones is aggressively taking that specific, quantifiable pain and turning it into fuel for the future. He's forcing everyone to see this season not as a failure, but as a necessary prerequisite for greatness.
And